Hey guys, it's WACK. So the other day, I was just laying in my bed, right? Just thinking about competitive Overwatch because that's just what I do. That's my life. I don't have a lot of friends and I don't get invited to parties that much. So of course, I'm going to be thinking about competitive Overwatch. And along with that, I was also thinking about other competitive video games such as like League of Legends or Call of Duty or Dota or just any type of video game that kind of has a competitive scene. And along with that, I was just thinking, okay, what if the Blizzard team were to add something in competitive Overwatch that these other video games has? And what I'm talking about is a protect and ban system. So I want you guys' thoughts and opinions on this type of idea that could come into competitive Overwatch. This is just an idea that I thought that might work with Overwatch, but if we just take a game like League of Legends. Now, I don't know everything about League of Legends. In fact, I had to ask my friend a little bit about League just to see how the competitive scene is for that. But pretty much what League has right now is just a straight up ban system. So there's 5 players on each team, and each team gets a total of 3 bans so that they can pick a champion and make sure that that champion isn't added into the game or just can't be played in the game. Now, the only problem with this is that League of Legends has a total of 134 champions as the time that I'm making this video. Overwatch, on the other hand, only has 24 heroes in the game, so that right away can already stir up a bunch of cons right there. But there's totally other different pros and cons that could come with a protect and ban system. I mean, if we just look at a game like Call of Duty, now lots of people like to meme on Call of Duty and whatnot, but either way, they have a competitive scene. So what they had in Black Ops 3 is a protect and ban system where you can just pick either a gun, lethal weapon, a perk, a kill streak, whatever it could be. You can either A, protect it and it would stay in the game, nobody can mess with it, nobody can touch it. It's like your little cookie jar, right? You're just keeping it right under your armpits. Or on the other hand, you can ban something. You can ban a gun, you can ban a kill streak so that the enemy team and along with your team cannot play that. So that just left a lot of room for a lot of strategic strategizing. I think I just used both words in the same sentence right there. Either way, what I'm trying to say is that there was a lot of strats that came along with that protect and ban system that I think that could easily be transitioned into Overwatch. But again, there's a lot of pros and cons to it, and that's what I want to make this video, and also get your guys' thoughts and opinions on a possible protect and ban system and what you would like to see along the lines of it, because it doesn't even have to be a protect or even a ban system. It can kind of be like a mixture of the two. But let's just list off the pros and cons, because there's going to be a lot that comes with it if the Blizzard team did want to implement something like this. So I wanted to talk about the pros about the protect and ban system because I'm just a positive thinker. I like to think about the positive, but of course there's going to be some cons later on in the video. But the first thing that can just come as a pro is that it's going to change up team compositions. Now, some people would see that as a con, but let's just look at it like this. What are some heroes that you see literally in every single game? You always see a Reinhardt, you always see a Lucio, an Ana, a Zarya, kind of like those heroes are like a staple. Well, let's just say this. What if your team were to strategize and say, okay, let's kind of ban the Rein so the enemy team can't rely on the Rein shield, and we can just totally use like a diva, and we can just totally just rush right in there. That's just a simple strat right there that probably wouldn't work in the long run. But overall, what I'm trying to say is that you can totally break up team compositions that kind of rely on the Rein shield, because if they don't have that Rein shield, then they won't be able to protect themselves. They're going to have a lot of other squishies right there, and you're able to get a lot of kills. Again, it's just more just to break things up and just to spice things up in the composition of teams in competitive Overwatch, because like I said before, you always usually see a Rein, a Zarya, a Lucio. That way, if you were to ban something, well then, hey, you can totally break things up and just spice things up in the end. Along with that pro, it can even lead to making one-trick ponies being forced to play other heroes. So let's just say this. You ever run into that player that literally only plays like Genji or plays Soldier or maybe even just plays Diva or something? Well, the enemy team forces you to switch to a different hero because, hey, they just banned your Genji right there, and now you're having to force play a different hero. Well, in turn, to avoid that, you're going to want to learn other heroes in the game. So that Genji main, that pro Genji is not going to have to play a Soldier, is now going to have to play a Rein, is now going to have to play a Lucio. So again, that kind of sucks for that Genji player, but again, it can lead to just more wins because, hey, that kind of forces you to play other heroes and not always just be a one-trick pony. And this last pro that I have for a ban and protect system, which again, there's tons of other pros and cons. I just wanted to make this list pretty small and just list off key pros and cons, but I even mentioned this in the first pro, which is strategized counters. So let's say this. Let's say you do have a pro Genji, and I mean like a pro Genji on your team. The first counter that you're probably going to want to ban on your guys' side is most likely going to be a Winston, is going to be a Zarya, is going to be a Symmetra, because, hey, we want this Genji to live and we don't want him to get countered, so why don't we strategize and try to get these counters out of the game so that our Genji can just rain havoc. But then at that point, you would have to protect the Genji, because then your ban would just kind of be kind of irrelevant at that point. So it's just strategizing and just working together as a team. And I guess one last mini pro is that it forces people into game chat to kind of strategize, hey, what are we going to ban? What are we going to protect? What's our plan right here? So again, people in game chat just talking to each other, this is just going to lead you guys to another W because you're communicating, and that kind of forces you because, hey, we want to give our input for the protects and bans for heroes. Maybe I'm a good diva, maybe I'm a good soldier 76. I want to protect those heroes instead of them getting banned. So again, it forces people into game chats to try to lead you to another W that I just thought of right off the top of my head right here. So now we're going to get into the good stuff, which is the cons of a protect and ban system, which again, there's tons of cons that can come with it, but I just wanted to list off some key points. So the first one I even mentioned at the beginning of the video, which is that Overwatch has such a small roster. If we look at a game like League of Legends, first of all, you only get 3 bans per team, but you have a choice of 134 heroes. That is not a lot of champions that you're going to be banning as terms of percentage, but let's just say this, if everybody on an Overwatch team had an ability to ban a hero, just straight up ban a hero, that's going to take out half of the roster in the game. So clearly that wouldn't work, so I'm sure you would have to subtract the number of bans or protects in the game, say to like 3 or maybe even 2. But again, the small roster just makes it just kind of impossible for everybody to have their own individual ban of a hero, since hey, you're going to be taking out 12 heroes, that's half the roster right there. And then another obvious just reason why a protect and ban system wouldn't work is going to be troll picks. So you're going to get those people that are going to be banning like the soldier 76 because you're a soldier main, or you're going to get people that are banning the Genji because you're a Genji main, but there's also going to be those few people that are going to protect the Widowmaker, protect the Torbjorn or the Hanzo, just because hey, I'm not going to play those heroes, but I just want to mess around with you guys. So I don't know how they can work around it. Maybe they can have the highest 3 people in the game have the say, or maybe they can just be random. But again, the troll picks are going to be prevalent in that there's going to be those few people that want to just protect maybe the Symmetra or something when you're on attack payload. There's going to be those few people. How they can work around it, I don't know, but again, there's always going to be ways around it. Another con, which again, there's going to be tons of cons, I want to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section below, but another con is that throwers are going to be prevalent just because you ban or protect a certain type of hero. Let's say you did ban something like a diva because you wanted to quote-unquote strategize, and maybe that was your plan, maybe they were a good diva on the enemy team, but that just makes your player that's a diva main SOL because hey, I'm a diva main, well, I don't want to play anymore just because you banned my hero and I don't want to play anybody else. Screw you guys, I'm going home, respect my authority because I wanted to play diva. That was such a bad just mimic of Hartman and South Park. Either way, what I'm trying to get at is there's going to be throwers in the game because you ban a certain hero that they really wanted to play. How they can work around it, that's kind of impossible, but that just goes back to the comparison to League of Legends, how there's 134 champions in that game. If you ban a certain hero, more than likely that player that mains that hero can play another type of hero, unless, again, he's just a one-trick pony. And the last and final con for a protect and ban system is that there's going to be unnecessary losses because players are playing heroes that they're not familiar with. So let's use that same diva example. Let's say the diva is actually flexible, like, okay, fine, I won't play diva, but I'll play a different hero, and then you say, okay, let's play Lucio, and then he plays Lucio, but he just continues to die. He doesn't know when to speed boost, when to heal, because he just doesn't know how to play Lucio. And in turn, there's going to be other heroes that are going to be played because, hey, well, they just banned my hero. I don't know how to play this other hero, but I'm going to try to do it because I want to fill with the team. And a bunch of losses are going to come out of this because they're unfamiliarized with that certain type of hero. But again, that just goes back to this, like, I think it was the second pro, which is that you're going to have to be more versatile and just play a bunch of different heroes and get familiar with them because, hey, there's this ban and protect system now in the game. So it's a more cause and effect. A bunch of these cons actually relate back to the pros, and the pros relate back to the cons and how they will work. But again, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this protect and ban system. Overall, can this ban and protect system work? If Blizzard were to like maybe tweak it to make it their own system, I think it can, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts and also how other video games do it, because I only listed off 2 games, which is Call of Duty and League of Legends. I'm sure other games also have a ban and protect system, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts. So I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'm more than likely going to be streaming on Twitch and playing with viewers, so if you want to go check me out, you can. It's at twitch.tv/WACK. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and bye.